guys, my name is Cindy. How many of you guys drink coffee? As adults and students, we look for drinks that'll keep us going throughout our busy days. And I'm pretty sure you guys have noticed that there's coffee shops, there's a lot of coffee shops in LA and in the United States in general. So coffee has become a huge part of our culture. In my speech today, I will talk a little bit about the history of coffee. I will also talk about how it's made, and then I will talk a little bit about how it has evolved and become a huge part of our culture. So to start off the history, the coffee fruit was first found in Ethiopia. It wasn't until the 13th century that people actually started roasting the seed from that fruit. And then in the 18th century, it finally reached the New World. Once it reached the New World, the popularity grew even more just because people were boycotting, after the incident of the Boston Tea Party, people were boycotting tea, so they made coffee their new drink of choice. How it's made. So coffee can only grow in, according to the National Coffee Association, from their website, it can only grow from specific places that have tropical weather. So pretty much anywhere around the equator, and they also refer to it as the bean belt. That's where coffee grows best. Once it's cultivated and harvested, it gets dried. So the small seed gets dried up out in the sun, and then it gets picked. They pick the best ones. They get them all together. They export them to different places around the world, and these cafes or coffee shops roast the beans to what they'd like to have. And then once they get roasted, they get ground up, and then they get brewed. And there's many ways of brewing your coffee as well. Now that I've talked a little bit about history and how it's made, I want to talk about how it has evolved and become part of our culture. So it comes in three waves. The first wave was post World War II. People were looking for cheap and easy coffee, so they had instant coffee in a can. It just popped open. The second wave was in the 60s, and that was from Starbucks. And Starbucks opened the door for a lot of new opportunities to work with coffee, and they also opened the door for people to pay more money for coffee. And the third wave is more recently, it's specialty coffee. And they focus a lot more on the craft and the science behind coffee. So they try to bring out more, just like wine, they try to taste more flavors from the coffee bean. And they try to do, they take courses, they do cuppings, they travel to these places just to get to know the coffee better. And coffee shops have also become a third home away from home, just because we grew up watching shows like Friends or Seinfeld, and we see things on the internet or social media that coffee has, we see these things and we grew up, going to these things, and it has become part of our culture, and it's super big, and I'm pretty sure it's going to keep growing and it's going to keep evolving. So today I talked about the history of coffee, how it's made, and then how it has become part of our culture. And I know that not everyone likes coffee, but I hope that you guys give it a try, or just at least, try to understand why people are so obsessed with coffee. And if you guys ever want to try more coffees, I recommend going to smaller coffee shops, just because they take an interest and they really care about ethically sourcing beans, and they take a lot of pride in their work. So I hope you guys can check them out. Thank you.